Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Drisham 2. This is Radioactive Curry. I am your host, Nate the Great from Collection Connection. Drisham 2, according to my amazing research, is a 2022 film. 7 years after facing traumatic events, the Salgaonkars have moved on with life. However, unforeseen circumstances threaten to bring dark truths to light. They are victim to a money grab. AJ Devin is Vijay. Ashaye Khanna is IG Turan. Ashita Ditta is Anju. Sharia Saran is Nariti Salga. Runal Jahav is Anu, and Tabu is Mira. Fun times. All right. Right off the bat, George Cuddy was way more endearing to me than VJ was. I guess you guys got to have a seamless watch on your version of Drisham 2, comparing it with Drisham 1. And I don't even know what the hell version Fuzzy ended up watching as he disappears. Maybe he doesn't agree with me. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, my phone rang. My bad.
It's okay. But they had a nice montage at the beginning of the new one. So it set up kind of the same thing was happening. So, you still understood that VJ was George Cuddy, and the characters were still the characters. The plot seemed to go in order with what was going on. But it seemed like when they substitute Bo and Luke Duke for, what were those fake Duke boys? It was like Dick York, Dick Sargent, like I Dream of Jeannie. It was just like...
I thought he kind of looked like he had the looks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to keep taking a second. I'm like, this ain't the same guy. Like, this ain't
just George Cuddy was, I don't know, man. Like, he said
but
words.
Remember, they did
all
like
this guy did was sit around and look
movie.
solemn.
Remember, we did like 20 fucking versions of this movie. So, like, this could be a guy from one of those versions.
He's the one from the one that they watched.
Yeah, we
watched the wrong version last time.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Because when I popped up, I was like, "What the? Well, this one's shorter. Can I watch this one?" And, and you're on Amazon. I was like, "Fuck, that one's longer." All right, fine, dude. Let's watch it.
For us, it was all the same actors. It was playing all the roles.
Yeah.
It was just seven. They were all 7 years older. Like the little girl, it's the same little girl. She's aged, which was, kind of cool. So for us, everybody was the same. Even that stupid, smarmy police officer.
Yeah, the really dark guy that likes to beat on everybody. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Officer Mustache. Yeah.
I want him.
Officer Gaitan.
He needs to get hit by a bus, and then a piano dropped on him, and then the earth needs to swallow him whole.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. But I like the one thing I was getting a kick out of. I was laughing at this movie was they did a lot of the dun, dun, like that, like when they were about at the end when they're announcing the twist, the little twist at the end. They kept cutting to him like that. It was like dun, dun. I was like, ah! Like that. I was waiting for the 70s fucking, Kojak to walk in and bust their ass and shit. But,
Yeah, I mean, I just it felt to me like a shameless cash grab.
I look, dude. I love the first one. That was one of I was one of the guys that was saying that it was awesome. And when you guys said there was 2, I said, why? This was another one where I was like, they ended it so perfectly because I remember that ending to the full. It's like that was one of the best endings I've seen in movies. Period. Is that because it doesn't get solved, but at the same time it wraps it up into a nice bow. You know what I mean? Everyone goes away sad. You know what I mean? Like it's life. Like that's what life is like. You know what I mean? And then when you get to this one, in the whole movie, I was going like, okay, they're gonna show the trauma. Like, that's what I kept thinking throughout this movie. It's like, oh, this is going to be the trauma of dealing with that stuff. I was like, okay, I'm in. And then all of a sudden they kept saying, like, we're looking for the body. And I was like, we know where the body's at. Like, why is everyone spending an hour and a half on where the body's at? And then when they found the bones, I'm not gonna lie. Did you guys notice there was like it looked like you know when you buy those fake skulls in the department stores and it's got like the etchings on it, like the little hieroglyphics and shit. It had it on there. Like if you go back and watch it, I was like, who the fuck put a hieroglyphic on the top of the guy's head? And then like
they got Dollar Tree skeleton.
Yeah, I guess, dude. Like I was dying. I was like, oh shit. And then it clicked. Like I caught the ending. I go, oh, somehow he fucking, spoiler alert, he switched the fucking bones. I was like, that was easy to figure out. Like the other one was more like intense and like fucking like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna be able to pull this off? But this one was more like you said, a cash grab. It's like, let's get everyone back together real quick. Let's go out. Let's fucking, see what the gang's up to and shit like that. This would be like watching, because we watched The Breakfast Club, right? That was the other movie we watched. This would be like making a sequel to The Breakfast Club. And it would be like the
Lunch Club,
yeah, like
different people.
The day it would show the day that they all went on Monday back to school and how they reacted to each other. Like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
You know what? That might be good, dude.
I wouldn't know. I like it the way it ends. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like that. There's a certain movies where you're just like it's done. There's no need to make any more of it. Like zero. I get the remakes because it was a great fucking movie, but like this one, I was kind of like it didn't suck. Trust me, I've seen way worse recently.
Yeah,
so
no,
it didn't suck. It just I was like, But I'm glad they didn't give me no movie that fucked me up to where I was crying or, like fucking on the floor, like, oh, God. Like there was that relief while I was watching this movie. I was just like, okay, I know what's going on, kind of thing. So, yeah, it was good.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought this movie was amazing.
Yeah, Josh really liked this one too.
It was.
Something would happen, he'd be like, "Oh!" and he'd turn over. Unfortunately, I kept telling him, "Watch, it's not going to be the right body. Watch, it's going to be the." You know what I mean? Like these types of things. It's, I guess.
Well, yeah, but you read the spoilers before you watched the movie.
No, I knew that the premise is that I knew the mom planted the neighbors. That's as far as I got with that. But then after you start watching, you're like, wait a minute, he's not going to get caught because he's technically the hero of the story. And they keep bringing up about the fact that you can't put the hero in jail. Nobody's going to want to see the hero go to jail. You can't have that.
I'll give him that. I didn't catch the neighbor thing till like way later in the movie. Like even when they were in there, like doing the whole like cutaway, like, oh my God, it's so and so. Like in the beginning of the movie, I was like, is that the same people? Like I was confused. I was like, who the fuck's who? Because I wasn't paying attention to people's faces because the dialogue was coming so quick. I never took my eyes off of the fucking subtitles, so I didn't know who was who. I just knew the main character.
Vijay was Cuddy.
Yeah, Cuddy. Like I knew Cuddy. And I knew his wife, but other than that, like I was like, even the daughters, I was like, which one's which? Okay, that one looks older. Okay, we're going with that one. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. And but like I didn't catch that, so I gave them that. I was like, oh, they got me. I was like, they got me. They fucking got me right there.
Honestly, the biggest switch was Cuddy and Vijay, the daughter and the wife and the daughters. If it would have been George Cuddy and that would have been the wife and the daughters. The other performance of the other ones weren't super memorable to where I would have been like, hey, those are different women. Like the biggest disconnect for me was Vijay versus George Cuddy, but it still seemed like the same dude, but he didn't seem as well, I don't know. We didn't get a chance to connect with that actor and that character in the first place like the Scots were able to do. But I thought that George Cuddy always had that weird dress on. He was kind of fat. And
what the hell are you talking about? I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You guys watched a different version.
Yeah, and you missed that one too. You missed our first thing.
The one I watched before, and again, it was low budget. Like this one looked like they had just money. And
there was
money at it. Yeah, like it was great cinematography. Like like everything was all well done. But you watch the version that we watched, and it was very low budget. You know what I mean? Independent. It looked like it was made with a handheld camera and shit. But it was fucking good. Like it was hella good. Like this one was. I was like, when I was watching, I was like, oh, they got rich. There's all the money.
Yeah,
just splattered all over that screen.
it's definitely polished, but it's worth it. I mean, like so many shots that are like great shots, like the scene at the end when they're the Inspector General, the guy that's basically Indian Mark Strong, was passing Vijay in the hallway, right? And they're just like, it's like he's coming from one side and then he's coming from the other, and they
just pass each other. They don't even like look at each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, the Inspector General's glaring at him, but Vijay don't even bother. He's like, "What's that car over there?"
It's weird. The other thing I thought was weird was the sentiment of the people in the village, who were all, like, he's a great guy and set him free and he's our man too. That guy's a fucking murderer. Like, it was like, whoa, man, they turned on him.
Yeah, like that.
The thing is that it's been 7 years, and so a lot of the people that come to town, they hear the stories, and you have to think back. I was thinking back to like when I was a kid. There's always like that one dude that lived on your block, and everybody was certain that he was like an axe murderer on the side. And there's like that one house, where the grass wasn't cut regular, and like the cars were all
the haunted house. That's true.
And you're just like, so like over time you can see how, with the stories of like, the murder of the Inspector General's son, and like the suspicious circumstances and the accusations flying, but no proof ever been able to like manifest itself. And so like all the people in the first movie that supported him were still basically on his side. But like a lot of the new people in town were like, oh, that's that freaking psychopath.
Well, yeah, but the other thing though too is that I think it was prompted by like jealousy, because he's also, you can tell he's moved up in the world. He was able to sell a portion of his land. He's now he owns a cinema house. You know what I mean? He not only does he do his cable job still, but he also runs a cinema house, and now he's going to do a movie, and he's a writer about the. You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. So some of that had to do with the jealousy.
Well, yeah, and it's character development. So for us, it was good to see like where the characters had come to.
Those actors, the guy that ran the little 7-Eleven, for lack of a better word, the little bodega, shop, the bodega. That's the same actor. Yeah. Like the police officers, they're all this. Like they got everybody back, from like the nobody characters to the main actor.
I can see it. It's been 5 years. We don't have any money left over. What can we do to get more money? Let's bring Vijay back. We can all get back in again.
But I thought this movie was a really good like second chapter, because that female Inspector General from the first movie, she was obviously the bad guy. The mom, she was the bad guy in the first one, and now she comes back with a vengeance because she can't let it go. You're like, I totally believe that story. She's looking for a way to undermine this guy, and finally finds it by putting tenants on his property.
She knows that he did it.
Yeah,
it's not one of those things. But you know what I mean?
But that's
they
what I mean. Like body. The end, right? And I love that scene where he's in the theater. The dad and him are having that real like it. It wasn't him yelling at each other. You know what I mean? It, like you said, they understood what happened. You know what I mean? Like that. To me, that was the suspense of that ending of that last one, is that as parents, you know what I mean, you want to think your kids are amazing and they do all the good things and you taught them right, but you find out your kid did something fucked up, and then you put yourself kind of in their shoes and you're like, well, what would you do in that situation, kind of thing. And even though it's your fucking kid, like I was like, that was why I liked it, because they came to grips with it. You know what I mean? They understood it. But now in this one, like you said, she's back with a vengeance, and she's pissed, dude. Like I love the scene when she's talking to the daughter. That shit got me good. I was like, oh shit, dude. Like I felt like I was my grandma watching a fucking Telemundo novella and shit. You just fucking like, híjole, like this, like with my fingers in my mouth, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, she's gonna smack the bitch, dude.
Well, that's the thing, is that like she's just relentless. She wants them all to suffer.
Yeah, she was like that in the first one too.
She wants, they got Vijay going to prison. He's confessed. And she's like, I want them all. I want the daughters and I want the mom too. And the husband's like, wait a minute. No, he's already confessed. We just need to see. Well, they think at that point, they still think they have their son's body. You know what I mean? It's not until later that you find out that he doesn't. So he still has like an ace up his sleeve. But like, yeah, she's still like, she's still hardcore for him. I want them all to suffer. I want them all to burn. I want everything about it. to like, I want to fuck their shit up.
Yeah.
And the dad is more like, I just want my son back so that I can do the proper rituals to give him his proper burial and this and that and the other. Can you just do that?
It's a good metaphor for divorce. Like, hey, I just want to leave this crazy woman. He needs to die. I want all his shit. I want his dick cut off in a glass case.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even at the end of this movie, you know, they get the ashes, but she's still, like, you can tell she's still not happy.
Yeah. Get ready for DRISHYAM 3.
No, end it. It's done.
The mother's
Good.
like,
We got his fingerprints from the ashes.
Yeah,
but even the idea, like, I did like the scenes that I all liked in this movie had nothing to do with finding the body, except for the part where, like, she's at the daughter and stuff. But, like, I love when the mom didn't want to let the friends over, and then they all came over and everything was kind of cool, and then all of a sudden she got weirded out because fucking, like, again, I thought it was going to be about the trauma. Like, I was like, oh, this is getting good. Like, they're going to fall apart and it's going to turn into this big old shit show and stuff. And then the body thing came up and I went, oh, man, that's what this is about? Dude, shit. So part of it's my fault because I didn't read what it was about and I just went in blindly, so.
I do the same.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a fitting sequel. One of those rare times where I enjoyed the sequel nearly as much as I enjoyed the original of it. So.
Well, but for us, but if you watch it as one whole, because we had the same actors, I think it's just a continuation.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things of bad luck where, you know, we happened to pick the right first movie and you guys didn't, and so there's a disconnect. I think if you guys had seen the same one we did, you might have a different sentiment about it.
Yeah, we messed up and watched the original one that they all copied.
Yeah. The one thing that
bigger budget too.
The one thing that really disturbs me about this movie, and it's not just this one, it's a lot of these films that we're watching from India, is just how freaking brutal the police are. These guys don't give a they will.
That's where I was going. I was like,
man,
I watch these videos where people are recording themselves being shitty to cops, and I'm like, man, how could you be so shitty to cops? And I'm like, this is exactly why people are so shitty to cops.
No, if I had to deal with that, I like the whole time when that girl was getting this again, I was like, man, if that lady kept coming at me, I don't care how many cops are around me, I'd have knocked the fuck out of them. Back the fuck up.
That's your American attitude seeping through. I don't think that's how they think about it in India, because they'll probably black bag you and you disappear for life, you know?
Maybe, dude, but I'll take one.
You wouldn't do that because you would have died when you were 4 the first time you tried to rise up on somebody.
Look, I'll never forget. I met my birth parents, and I was hearing stories of like how they raised my half brothers and sisters, and I remember just looking at them, going like, I'd have killed every one of you guys. I don't think you would have been able to have it trying to fucking hold me down like that shit. Like, hell no, I'd have whooped some ass, dude. Like, so that's just me. Like, you know.
Fun times.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Radioactive Curry. We measure these movies on the level of spicy curry that they are. What do we think, Comic Lizard?
Well, again, I like it. I'm giving it a 7. It's not like the first movie, but it's still really good. Story-wise, it falls right into place. There's no gaps. There's no like missing pieces. They really filled in all of the story from the first one to the second one. You know, but it basically is just, I don't want to say it was regurgitated over again, but it just had that same kind of like flavor to it. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like it wasn't a bad movie. It's just kind of like yeah, okay, it's cool. I like the little wrap up. Hopefully they won't do a third one, but they've left it. They left it to where it could potentially be a third one. It just depends on how much money this made and how. I think it's like in the top grossing films in Hindi or something like that. I read it. So there's a possibility for a third one, I guess. The way they left it. I hope they don't do it though. We don't need it.
DRISHYAM 3, the grab for cash.
So no, it gets a 7. Yeah, it's a 7.
I want to give this movie a solid 8. It was enjoyable. It had good pacing. Like Fuzzy discussed before, the cinematography was good. All the character acting was believable. I thought it was a fitting sequel to the other. I can't imagine how they would do a third one, because at least from the first one, the body was still there. The body was still buried under the police station. If they somehow got wind that that's where it was, you could have picked up from there, and that's what they did. But now that the body is gone,
they could always retcon somebody seeing him move, like they retcon the witness.
Like the camera actually was working.
The
It's
ghost is
start off-
going to come back. The ghost is going to come back. Is going to tell his mom, I fucking got killed by so-and-so. And she's going to start doing it. And then she's going to flip out and kill the family. That's what I'm signing up for the third one, dude. That's what I want to see.
Movie.
Yeah,
Tom Bud, Drisham 2 meets Tom Bud.
plus Drisham. Yeah.
Drisham Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's definitely one that I would like to go back and watch the two of them back to back just to get the whole flavor going. But no, it's definitely a great movie.
I thought it was a cash grab. There was elements of it that I thought was okay. I found the original cast and what they did with it to be a lot more endearing than I found the other one to do. The other one was it there was money behind it. It looked like they paid the people more and all that stuff, but I still can't help but think that wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the fact that there was this low budget, super well written movie that had somebody's heart in it. And this just seemed like, it's like, oh, I can draw a heart too, but I have better pencils. So they did it. And then
I got
they went
markers
back
this time.
Yeah, exactly. I got Copics, and then they went back and they're like, I need to buy more Copics. Let me do this thing again. So I don't think it was bad. I think the biggest disconnect for me was just the disconjointedness of the two movies, and even the disconjointedness. This version of the movie was. We already discussed it on our first video. It was the exact same thing. We talked the plot and everything last time. It was the same movie, just with different people, a little bit more money in the pocket. So the story wasn't discontinued. The body was still underneath there. There was still a yellow car and the Ray Lake and all that stuff. But it didn't have the soul that the first one had, in my opinion. So I want to give this one a 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6 too, because. And that's with the fuzzy points. So, and the reason why I'm doing that is because, again, just like Comic Lizard said, it was literally, and we all kind of agree on it's just the same romp. You know what I mean? And when you do a sequel, that's how you usually do it. It's the same thing. You're getting the same thing, but a little spice to it or something like that. But I think that's where it lacked on me. It didn't give me the spice. I called the ending, you know what I mean? I knew what was going on, and I kind of was just going through the motions. Okay, let's get to this is where so-and-so is going to happen. This is where this is going to happen. And the parts that did get me off guard had nothing to do with the plot, or anything like that. So I was just like, but again, cinematography was beautiful. Even the pacing of the film was good. They kept the pace the same way I liked it from the first one. So I liked the pacing and everything like that. But again, the ending just kind of was okay. We called it, if they would have, I don't know. I can't rewrite this thing because I don't want to. It just, again, I think the first
But you
one was
wanted
perfect.
to do the first one.
No, dude, I still will. I still say the American version of that movie, dude. I am in that one. There's 5 of these movies we've watched where I'm just yep, that needs an American remake. That's a good one right there. That's just the plot, in itself, is beautiful because it's simple. You know what I mean? The more simple it is, the easier it is to make, the cheaper it is to make, and fucking you're stuck with not being how are we going to get people to get here? Oh, we're going to blow up this building and this and that. So that's going to be in the trailer. You have to sell it on the story. And they did it in the first one. This one, I kind of was just okay. So, yeah, it wasn't bad. I'm not, please, if you like the first one, check it out. Again, it continues the story. You get to see what happens to these people. But I'd rather just watch the first one again.
Yeah, don't listen to these losers. The movie was great.
Well, there you have it. Drisham 2. Check it out. Check it out. It's worth a watch. I would have liked to have seen George Cuddy's further adventures, but it is what it is. Thanks for joining us. If you got any more suggestions for us, please hit us back down below in the comments here. That's where we get these movies that we're reviewing from. And, you know, it really helps us out. Tell your friends, you know, do you agree with us? You know, do you agree with Josh? Do you agree with Fuzzy? Do you agree with me? Who do you like? Who do you hate? We're all here to get your opinions of who we are and what we're doing. Till next week. Thanks for watching Radioactive Curry. Fuzzy, take us out.
Love, peace, and Popeye's grease, ladies and gentlemen. We are.